Hello all. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Today we will see how to operate our time-based Straddle Strangle Pro version. When you open the software on the remote desktop, first you have to log in with your broker and API credentials. After successful login, you will see you are logged in on the Logs and Events section. There are four major parts of the software screen. The first is the menu bar. The second is Operation tabs and screen. The third is Configuration box. Fourth is the Logs and Events. In the menu bar, you will see three buttons. Using the Login button, you can log in and log out from the software. The Save button is for saving all your strategies into a template. You can give your desired name to the template and save it to your desired location. Using the Load button, you can load the template you have saved. Once you load the template, the software will ask you to append the strategy, which will add the strategy addition to the current strategy added. The second option is Replace, which will replace the strategy and load the template and remove the previous strategy. The third option is to cancel the dialog box. At the left bottom, you can see all the global configurable parameters which will apply to all the strategies. This is global max profit and global max loss. If you want to enable or disable them, then you can check the respective checkbox. Whenever the total MTM of the positions taken by the algo reaches global max profit or global max loss, it will exit all the positions and stop taking any new entries for the day. This applies to all the straddles or strangles configured for the day. You can also change the values of global max profit and global max loss while the software is running. Once you change the values, you will need to click on the Update button. This is the expiry configuration. You can select the expiry you want to trade with and it will be applicable for all the strategies created. This is product type selection. You can select if you want to use intraday orders or delivery orders. This is also applicable to all strategies. From here, you can set the execution mode of the algo. You can select either live trading or paper trading. In live trading, all the orders will be placed to your broker account, and in the case of paper trading, it will not place any orders in the broker, but it will show you the live MTM, order book, and positions in paper trade mode. We are using limit orders for entry and stop loss limit orders for stop losses. For order execution, we are providing two parameters. One is limit buffer percent and one is seconds to modify the order. Let's understand these two parameters with an example of cell type entry. If you set the limit buffer percent to 3% and seconds to modify to 5 and the LTP at the time of entry is 100, then it will place a limit sell order with a price of 97. This doesn't mean that your order will be executed at 97. But it means that your order will be executed at the best available buyer between 100 to 97. If no buyers are available above 97, then your order will be pending. After 5 seconds, if your order is pending, then it will modify it to market. Now, I will be showing you how you can configure your strategies. When you click on the Configure Strategy button, it will open the strategy configuration form. In alias name, you can give any unique name to the strategy. This field is not mandatory and you can keep it empty. For underlying, you can choose from Nifty and Bank Nifty Spot or near month futures. With entry time, you can specify your time of entry for this strategy. It will be selecting the options contracts based on the underlying price at the same time. From entry type, you can decide if you want to sell side entry or buy side entry. Buy side entries are generally used for creating hedges for margin benefits, which will be explained later. From here, you can decide how many lots you want to trade with. This is the strike selection part. The strike price is decided based on the underlying price at the time of entry and strike out you have set. If you set to strike out to 0, then it will be trading ATM options contracts. If you set some positive values in a strikeout, then it will select OTM options contracts. If you set some negative values in a strikeout, then it will select ITM options contracts. You can set different strikeouts for call and put. If you want to exit your positions at the end of the day, then you will need to check the square off at exit time and set the exit time for strategy. Please note that this software is for intraday trading only. If you disable the exit time, then on the next day you will need to manage your positions manually. Using strategy max profit and strategy max loss, you can set the strategy level exit conditions based on MTM. You will need to check the respective checkbox for the same and set the values for the same. Please note that this is not a global level max profit or max loss. This applies to this particular strategy only. Below that, this is the target and stop loss configuration for the strategy. You can decide if you want an individual leg target and stop loss or a combined leg target and stop loss. You can enable or disable the target using the respective checkboxes for target and stop loss. You can also set the target and stop loss on a points basis or percent basis. So for example, if you set the target and stop loss type to individual leg and target as 20 points and SL as 10 points. If your entry price is 100 for the options contract, then your target price will be 80 and the stop loss price will be 110. In the case of combined leg stop loss and target, if your combined entry price for the call and put is 200, your target is set at 40 points and your stop loss is set at 20 points, then it will exit the positions if the combined premium of the call and put option reaches to 220 stop loss or 160 targets. You can also decide on the square off type. In the case of the individual leg, you have the option to set the square off type to either one leg or all legs. If you set it to all legs, then it will exit both legs of the strategy when the target or SL is met for any one leg. If you set it to one leg, then it will exit the respective leg only for which stop loss or target condition is met. In the case of combined leg target and stop loss, the square off type will be by default all legs. In the individual leg stop loss, you can set the move SL to cost feature. If you enable this, then when your one leg stop loss hits, it will trail the stop loss of the other leg to cost. If you check the place SL in the broker, then it will send the stop loss order to the broker. As explained before, we are using a stop loss limit order for stop loss. If you enable ceiling, then it will round off your initial SL and target price to an upper integer. For example, if your SL price is calculated to 130.2, then it will round it off to 131. For trailing, you can set the trailing using two parameters X and Y. You will need to check on the enable trailing. Trailing works on both a percent basis or points basis. To check how trailing works, you can move the cursor to the question mark icon stop loss and trailing configuration section. Using trail SL type, you can configure if you want to start trailing immediately after entry or after one leg SL hit. This is applicable in the case of individual leg SL only. Now we will understand the re-entry configuration. If you want to enable the re-entry, then you will need to check on the enable re-entry checkbox. If you don't want to configure, you can simply uncheck it. We are providing two types of re-entries. One is candle closing based and one is LTP based. If you have set the re-entry type to candle closing based, then you will need to select the time frame also. If you set the time frame to 1 minute, then after stop loss gets hit, it will take the re-entry when the option price candle closes below the previous entry price in the 1 minute time frame. You can also decide how many times you want the re-entry. You can also specify the time after which you don't want re-entries. You can also configure the day-wise selection for the strategy. Let's say, if you want to run this strategy on Monday and Tuesday only, then you can check the respective days and keep the other days unchecked. Using this feature, you can configure all your strategies in a single file and load the same file every day. Once you have configured the strategy, you will need to click on the Save button. You need to click on the Start button if you want to run the strategy. Make sure you click on the Start button, otherwise the strategy will not start running. Once you have added all your strategies, you should save them before closing the software. Thank you so much for watching video. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel so we can bring more content like this.